Harrison with you, asking you the following question. What if you were trapped on an island somewhere, on a land somewhere with nobody around but one other person? And that other person happened to be dead. But they're your best friend. Maybe they fart. You think I'm kidding?
I've spent a decade taking a bite out of conspiracy theories, unraveling urban legends, and grappling with worldwide top-secret issues.
I've even racked up some of their awards.
All while ferreting out the bottom line.
On all topics, controversial, bizarre, and taboo. Interviewing movers and shakers, agitators and muckrakers.
That doesn't answer my question. That is all I'm answering.
With me, Gary Harrison, as your guide.
Harrison with you. This is Go Harrison, coming to you live on various different streams, FMs up and down the west coast of California, east coast, and a few here and there in Europe. I want to talk to you about a movie that I've very much enjoyed recently because it gives me that kind of Three Stooges thrill that I had as a child and admittedly as a grown-up too. I love Rabelaisian humor. Look that word up. It's exactly what I mean, too. And I want to introduce to you the Daniels. They go collectively by the name The Daniels. You'll see their name in graphics. We're talking about Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan, and they are the directors, the producers, the writers of this feature film. It's their feature film debut called Swiss Army Man, which is now available on Blu-ray. It's now available on DVD. Remember DVDs?
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people still have it. So do I. And it's from Lionsgate. And it is, well, Swiss Army Man is actually kind of accurate because one of the characters can do absolutely anything, like a Swiss Army knife, right?
He's a survival tool. Yeah. Exactly.
He's just a human survival tool, a dead body with superpowered arms, butt, mouth.
Everything you would want if you were stranded in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah.
Yes. A corpse that is multifunctional and multifractional and, pardon the fire truck going by because it's Hollywood, and now we have an ambulance. It really is Hollywood. Here's this survival tool corpse that also has, shall we say, needs.
Totally, yeah.
Let's talk about those.
Our main character, Hank, finds out that this dead body is actually sort of... he's had his memory erased. He doesn't remember who he is or what life is exactly. And so our main character discovers that by bringing the body back to life, by teaching him what life is and what home is, he's able to convince him to help him get out on the journey to get back home. So it's kind of it's a buddy comedy, but it's also it's absurd and it's also life affirming. So it's kind of a mix of everything we want in a movie.
Yes.
And we always joked that it was a movie about a suicidal man trying to convince a dead body that life is worth living.
Nice.
And that the contradiction in that silly statement is kind of the kind of central conceit of the whole film. Is just like it's really sad and also really silly.
And you take the actor who we all know so most famously as Harry Potter, who of course has these grand talents, and likewise, even in death, has these grand talents.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this clip. I happily named it Robo Wiener. Well, probably for a really good reason.
You want the actors to be able to react to these surreal things. We wanted Radcliffe's wiener to move in real time. We literally built an animatronic wiener. You'd move a joystick and it would go exactly where the joystick went.
In the past, we had done just a guy behind the guy with a broom handle shoving it through his pants. We didn't have the luxury of space to do that.
Old school animatronics, the way that they should be done.
You know, it's kind of like a three-person scene. Manny, Hank, and Boner.
Oh! Whoa! Whoa! It's moving! What's happening? Oh! What is that? Yes!
You know I am not one for gratuitous naughtiness there. That was simply a turgid proboscis, a sort of girthy, swollen, but analogically moving. You could have created in CGI a phallus that would bounce around, that would articulate that way inside of the pants. I'm speaking clinically because on radio you may have no idea what we're talking about except a bouncing boner, really, or a BB as we call it in the business. Yes.
BBs.
And you actually
BB shot.
created a moving, articulating panty boner when you could have cheated and done it CGI? Why do the analog?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. One of it is we just like having things on set that the actors can actually react to. Like, our actors had so much more fun in the performance because it was actually there. You always say it's kind of like a three-person scene. We had our two actors and then our puppeteer who was kind of on the side. Basically, it made it a lot more fun, and we were able to just know while watching the monitor whether or not the shot was going to work, or whether or not the scene was going to work, which you don't always get that kind of confidence when you're doing stuff with CG, when you're relying on it.
We do a lot of visual effects heavy stuff, but we always try as hard as possible to do as much as possible real there so that the actors can react off it. And with this movie in particular, I think there's just so much more appeal to the entire film, knowing we actually dragged Paul and Daniel across the ocean. Like, they weren't in a green screen studio. Like, this all really happened. There's a kind of meta narrative to the insane existence of this film,
That was my sense as we're talking right now to Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan. This is their debut feature film from Lionsgate, available now on Blu-ray, on DVD, on VOD, LMNOP.
Yeah.
It's ubiquitous, it's everywhere, and it's funny as hell. And I played you that clip on purpose. More importantly, not just a scene from the movie, but how they make it. Because that's half the fun. Is we could be blown away by something magical, forget it ever happened. But when we see you actually making choices to give us, the audience, something real. And we always appreciate that, like a home-cooked meal versus a frozen dinner. And then you go that extra step just for us. And then you share that with us. That's special. We have another little scene, behind-the-scenes scene.
Totally home-cooked.
Home-cooked. This has to do with Daniel Radcliffe, again, Harry Potter, now in this movie, playing a corpse, or not a corpse, or a variety
Something in between,
propulsion. How does one get around using propulsion? We know how a jet engine works. The fuel is ignited, and it blows a lot of hot air out the back, and it moves the whole jet through the sky. It's a miracle. Well, imagine if the same thing happened with a person.
Today we're in the Los Angeles port city of San Pedro to send Manny farting through the water. So
it's the original idea that came to our brains that made us want to make the feature.
This is third page. Rides Manny out like a jet ski. So we've got the Manny surfboard, the motor butt. We've never tested it, never had anyone on it. So I'm a little nervous. Let's turn on its side and ratchet strap that. So,
the first time I read about the motorbutt sequence, I was like, great, they're doing this all in CG. This is wonderful. There's no way we're going to pull this off. And then they're like, by the way, all practical. And I was like, we're going to build an inflatable dummy that a human can ride on. And not only are we going to drag it from a boat and then remove the wake, we're going to tie a tube to it so that it can specifically shoot gas out of its butt. My favorite part of it was actually watching them test it, and Shiner and Kwan staring at a farting body drifting through the water. It was a very surreal image.
Harrison with you. It's always good when the guests are smiling at their own clips. It means that they must be good. We're talking right now to Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan. They go collectively as The Daniels in their feature film debut of Swiss Army Man, which is available everywhere right now. You can Google it. It'll all come up. Amazon, streaming, whatever.
iTunes, everything.
iTunes. It's available everywhere. And this is the stuff that makes me happy. It also talks about human life, because our corpse, formerly known as Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe in this, he also has homoerotic urges or something we just don't know. The whole spectrum of humanity is represented through a dead corpse.
Yeah.
Whatever the other guy's actually thinking is sort of being transmitted through the corpse, isn't it? As a proxy.
Yeah, we realized while we were writing this film that the film was a way for us to take all the things that we're all ashamed of, all the things that we would normally not put out in the world, and we were able to kind of celebrate it through the naive eyes of a dead body. And so you saying that this is what real people all experience it was a really big goal for ours, was to kind of represent that in a really fun celebratory way. because it's true. We all fart, and we all have like weird bodies, and we all die, and we all have like just awful thoughts. And I think this film is kind of trying to grappling with the universality of that problem.
And there's nothing more delightful than releasing a great gaseous borborygm, especially in an elevator or an enclosed space, and then you turn and point at somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh no! You're the villain of our movie.
Yeah, ideally, after you watch this movie, there will be no pointing. There will just be a nod.
Just raise your hand.
Yeah, exactly. A proud nod to everyone else in the room.
We've all wanted permission, and now officially, the Daniels have given that permission to us. Harrison, with you, I want to thank you so much. Daniel Shiner, Daniel Kwan, collectively known as the Daniels, for making movie Swiss Army Man. It is funny. Like, actually, you'll undulate. You'll have peristaltic swirls. And you'll make noises, gustatory noises. You may even chortle, as I did. So I really recommend it. Thank you guys for coming on Go Harrison.
Thank you so much for having us.
Chortling.
I did. I chortled.
Yeah.
And look forward to having you back on.
Of course.
All right, fellas. Harrison with you. See you in a sec. Various different streams, FMs up and down the west coast of California, east coast, and a few here and there in Europe. I want to talk to you about a movie that I've very much enjoyed recently because it gives me that kind of Three Stooges thrill that I had as a... Harrison with you, asking you the following question. What if you were trapped on an island somewhere, on a land somewhere with nobody around but one other person? And that other person happened to be dead. But they're your best friend. Maybe they...
Muckrakers.
But that doesn't answer my question. That is all I'm answering.
With me, Gary Harrison, as your guide.
Harrison with you. This is Go Harrison, coming to you live on
Issues.
I've even racked up some of their awards.
All while ferreting out the bottom line.
On all topics, controversial, bizarre, and taboo. Interviewing movers and shakers, agitators, and
fart. You think I'm kidding?
I've spent a decade taking a bite out of conspiracy theories, unraveling urban legends, and grappling with worldwide top secret.